Yanyan is stunned, unable to believe what she just witnessed. Suchan seemingly vanished in an instant. She questions whether her exhaustion is making her hallucinate, as something that impossible shouldn't have happened. Meanwhile, Suchan calmly assesses his ability, recalling how his spatial jump was previously limited and caused immense strain. However, with his recent advancement, his teleportation range has significantly increased. As his energy surges, his body transforms, crackling with dark power. Duan, sensing something ominous, watches in horror. She feels an overwhelming sense of dread, realizing Suchan is about to do something drastic. Suchan pushes his ability to the limit, executing consecutive spatial jumps at an unprecedented speed. Yanyan, watching from below, is completely stunned. She struggles to comprehend what just happened. Suchan disappeared right in front of her eyes, something beyond anything she had ever witnessed before. Meanwhile, chaos erupts in battlefield, as Yanyan, eyes glowing red with madness, goes on a rampage. Amidst the chaos, a group of monstrous beings watches the towering rampaging woman with fascination rather than fear. One of them, amused by the sight, expresses excitement, eager to climb up and take a closer look. His companion, alarmed, questions his sanity, urging him to escape instead of getting involved in such a dangerous situation. Undeterred, the creature quickly begins scaling Yanyan's leg, finding the experience exhilarating. Another monster decides to join in, racing up after him with excitement. A monster with glowing red eyes laughs maniacally, his sharp teeth flashing as he exclaims that they will soon be able to climb up. Meanwhile, a group monsters begins scaling the body of Yanyan. They decide that climbing her from this angle will make their ascent easier, using her immense form as a makeshift path. As the climbers advance, the commander shouts an order to open fire. He commands his troops to shoot down the approaching rebels, refusing to let them get any closer. Suddenly, ice shards crash down from above, shattering on impact and disrupting the battlefield. The freezing assault sends several soldiers flying as they struggle to protect themselves. One man grimaces, barely managing to shield himself from the devastating attack. The commander warns that Yanyan is losing control. If this continues, everyone will be in danger. The woman suddenly senses something approaching. Her eyes widen as she stops, realizing that something powerful is drawing near. Beads of sweat form on her face. In the next moment, a brilliant beam of energy descends from above, crackling with raw power. At its center, Suchan crouches atop a structure. Recognizing Suchan, both the commander and the woman react with relief and excitement. They exclaim that Suchan has finally arrived. Suchan, realizing that Yanyan is still growing uncontrollably. If this continues, she fears that Yanyan might lose control completely and explode. Suchan states that they must wake her before it's too late. Meanwhile, Yanyan's towering form looms over the city. Perched on a high tower, Suchan observes her carefully. Just as he prepares to act, Yanyan suddenly moves, her enormous hand reaching out and grabbing the tower with electrified force. Suchan narrowly dodges, leaping into the air as the structure crumbles under her grip. Suchan assesses the situation, that Yanyan has completely lost consciousness. If they don't stop her soon, the destruction will be unimaginable. As Yanyan's movements grow more erratic, Suchan attempting to climb her are effortlessly flung away by surges of energy radiating from her body. Suchan remarks in disbelief about the resilience of Yanyan's clothing, wondering how it manages to expand with her growing form. As Suchan descends, dark energy coils around him. His target is clear: he must reach Yanyan and bring her back to consciousness before she loses herself completely. The monster, still grinning with madness, declares that no one can stop him now. He is believing himself invincible as he stands beneath Yanyan's towering form. However, before he can act further, dark energy wraps around his throat. His eyes widen in shock as the suffocating force tightens. Suchan, cloaked in a swirling aura of dark energy, lands on the battlefield with commanding presence. The monstrous warrior, still struggling against the grip around his neck, glares at Suchan and demands to know his intentions. As the battle rages on, dark energy surges through the battlefield, sending enemy forces flying in all directions. The once confident climbers desperately cling to Yanyan's massive form, but the relentless force of the attack hurls them away one by one. From a distance, a hooded woman steps into view, gripping a staff adorned with skulls. Further ahead, the group of monsters confronts the woman with resentment in their eyes. They declare that they were once human, accusing her of being the one responsible for their current inhuman forms. One monster with glowing red eyes lunges forward, his twisted grin revealing sharp teeth. He declares his intent to make his opponent pay. Meanwhile, she grips their staff tightly. She insults their enemies. Without hesitation, she lash out, swinging their skull-adorned staff with deadly precision. The impact striking one of the monster in the mouth, causing him to reel back in pain. The woman stands her ground. The monster before her lets out a wild laugh, relishing the fight. The woman stepping back as she taunts her opponent, telling them to consider themselves lucky. She deliberately lets herself fall backward off the cliff's edge, disappearing into the abyss below. As she descends, she mockingly calls it her parting gift to them. Meanwhile, the skulls adorning it begin to writhe as dark energy pulses through them, their twisted mouths stretching open. From the staff, grotesque tendrils of dark energy slither forth, extending rapidly across the battlefield. Dark writhing tendrils explode from the monster, rapidly ensnaring everything in their path. One of the monster finds himself trapped, his body constricted as he struggles desperately to free himself. The monster lets out a guttural roar, its gaping maw filled with countless fanged mouths. It surges forward with terrifying speed, its glowing red eyes locked onto Yanyan. Elsewhere, an arrogant warrior smirks, clinging onto Yanyan's towering form. He laughs, boasting that he was the first to reach his goal, claiming superiority over the others. Suddenly, Yanyan's foot crashes down, sending countless enemies flying into the air. Screams of shock and terror echo as bodies are hurled away like mere insects. The monsters cling desperately to Yanyan's colossal form, trying to maintain their grip. One of them shouts a warning the giant woman is about to strike. With an earth-shattering impact, Yanyan slams her foot down, crushing everything beneath her with devastating force. Blood and energy burst outward as her attack obliterates the monstrous threat in her path. She rises with an eerie, almost triumphant expression, her glowing red eyes radiating an unsettling aura. Meanwhile, the few remaining warriors continue their futile attempt to climb her massive frame, their bodies barely hanging on. A monstrous warrior smirks, believing himself lucky to have dodged the previous attack. Suddenly, Suchan descends at incredible speed, his body shrouded in dark energy. Purple streaks of power crackle around him as he launches a devastating attack. The monster barely has time to react before Suchan's attack lands. The strike cuts cleanly through him, blood bursting into the air as his body is torn apart mid-fall. Suchan propels himself even higher, soaring toward the sky with unstoppable force. Yanyan stands motionless, her massive form towering over the ruined battlefield. Above her, Suchan descends gracefully. From a distance, the woman and the commander take in the aftermath. Relief washes over them as they realize the monstrous enemies have been defeated. She looks up at Suchan, she murmurs his name, worry creeping into her voice. Suchan, whose glowing red eyes remain locked onto Yanyan. Hovering in front of Yanyan's face, Suchan stares into her massive, lifeless red eyes.
This is the end of the video. If you guys want to see the next part, then don't forget to subscribe and like the video.